Would I be the butt for reporting my neighbors knowing they'll get in trouble? I live in an apartment. A year ago, a couple with 2 kids moved in next door. I noticed right away that both the husband and wife smoke cigarettes. Husband smokes 1 to 2 an hour minimum, and wife smokes every 2 to 3 hours, sometimes more. I work from home, and I'm in my bedroom and office most of the time. My bedroom gets very hot and stuffy anytime it's sunny out, and it's always much warmer than the rest of the house. I don't have the option to work anywhere else. For most of the time that I've lived here, I've been cooling off and getting fresh air by opening my window. But once this couple moved in, any time that I'd open my window, I'd smell cigarette smoke so strongly within 20 minutes that I'd have to close it. The couple is smoking on their back patio, underneath my bedroom window. I'd wait until they were done, open my window to try and air out the cigarette smell, and would usually end up repeating the cycle. I have asthma, and breathing in the smoke is painful for me and leaves me feeling hoarse and coughing. It seems to bother my sinuses too, and my dog has started coughing when exposed to the smoke. Over the summer, I looked at my lease. It says that this is a no-smoking complex, that people are not to smoke on their patios or within 25 feet of the building. I was frustrated and my lungs were bothering me consistently, so I sent an email to our complex manager and asked them to do something. Husband came to my front door the next day and asked me if I'd complained. I said that I did. I explained my side, that I'm in the room all day working, explained that I have asthma and pets and so on, and he was nice and said that he understood. He said that they would avoid smoking on the back patio as much as possible. We exchanged phone numbers, and he said that him and his wife would let me know when they would be smoking so that I could avoid it. He said that the property manager told them that they could get evicted with only 10 days notice for this, and he asked me to talk directly to them instead of the manager. He also told me how they were homeless before and are so grateful to have this apartment and so on. I agreed to talk to them directly, and I let the manager know that we had talked and resolved the issue. They communicated with me for a few months, and then about 3 months after we had talked, they stopped texting me altogether. After a while, I texted them and I asked them to continue to communicate with me. The wife went off on me, but then she apologized and they started texting me again. It's been a few months again. It's almost March now, and the wife hasn't texted since December 2022. Husband still texts me, but only to apologize if he hears me shut my window while he's outside. 2 weeks ago, I told him that his wife hadn't texted me in months, and I reiterated my issues and the lease rules. He said he talked to her. It's been 2 weeks, and neither of them are texting me at all now. It's getting warmer outside, and I'm dreading it. Would I be the butt if I complained to the property manager again? I don't want to get him in trouble, but I don't know what else to do. Hey, you gave them multiple choices and they know the rules and they are still doing this and not communicating, as well as putting you on a guilt trip for doing this. Yeah, especially where you work from home and have asthma. Come on, man. Wow. Yeah, you're fine, OP. You are fine. What would you do? Downstairs tenants are making my life miserable. So I live in a flat above a shop, and I have done so for the past 4 years. My grandparents own the building and rent the shop to a couple of women. The ladies who rent the shop have been witchy since day one, but over the past year, things have deteriorated. One lady in particular, Lorraine, has made it her mission to essentially bully me in my own home. I work from home and have done since COVID. This certainly doesn't help, but I should be able to work from my own home and not feel like I have to go out to avoid being bullied. Whenever Lorraine is in the shop alone, she will repeatedly bang doors and make as much noise as she possibly can. If she hears me moving above her, she will stand there and bang the same door several times. When she leaves the shop in the afternoon, she'll bang the front door so hard that the floor shakes. This mostly stops when the other lady is in there with her. When they're both in the shop, I'll get the odd bang on the ceiling if they hear the floorboards creak, but it's nothing compared to when Lorraine is alone. I turned a light switch off in the downstairs hall yesterday, and one of them banged on the wall. I can't do anything in here without consequences. The joy I feel when they close at 4 p.m. is like nothing else. How sad. Sometimes they'll come in on a Sunday or a Monday. They're usually closed on these days, and they'll start drilling and hammering. I understand that they might need to do DIY, but it comes across as inconsiderate and nasty. I spend all day trying to avoid moving around. When I do eventually have to walk to the bathroom or the kitchen, I'll tiptoe about. My friends and family keep telling me that I shouldn't have to do so, but if I make a noise, then the banging starts. It puts me on edge, and I feel constantly anxious. I really don't understand why they have such an issue with me and why Lorraine feels the need to make my life miserable. You'd think they'd try to be nicer considering my grandparents are their landlords. I brought this up with my mom and grandparents, but they're not willing to say or do anything about it. I've threatened to go down there, but my grandparents care too much what other people think and said that they'd be angry if I did. I feel completely miserable and just alone. I can't afford to move out and I feel trapped here. No one is willing to support me in this. Geez, it sounds like the family has the business in mind over the, family. This is a rough situation. I really hope that they'd see what these neighbors are doing to you. What would you do? HOA Karen says I'm not disabled enough for the handicap spot. So I, 24 female, am in the process of finding out if I tore my left ACL or not. During this time, I was given a temporary handicap pass because I'm on crutches and have a knee brace. This morning, I drove to my MRI appointment and saw an empty handicap spot and I parked there. I shouldn't be walking regularly, but I can at least limp around the car and grab the crutches in the passenger seat. Right before I open the door, some lady approaches me from behind and is all, Miss, you can't park there. I'm not a mean person and I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, so I just go, Hey, I'm on crutches and I have a pass, don't worry. This lady, with her voice sharpening, says, You can clearly walk and I don't see no crutches. So I open the door and I pull one out. For some context, my crutches are decorated with stickers. The lady, who will now be known as Karen, scoffed and said, That pretty crap ain't real. That's just a decoration. Move your dang car. She pulls out her phone and I assume she's going to start filming me. I'm not confrontational by any means, but my knee was hurting. I woke up too early and Karen was probably about to blast me on Facebook. So I responded, Film and this crutch will be up your butt. I'm not sure what happened next as I turned around and hobbled off. I was so upset that I forgot my other crutch in the car. You know what they say when you assume it makes a what out of you and me, Karen? You don't, just stop, Karen. You don't have any sense about yourself. These are crutches. They're real. They're not fake decorations. Why would you make that decoration? I don't even know. What have you done with this craziness? Terrible HOA story time with an update. I purchased a townhouse 1.5 years ago and I love my house. My neighbor who I share a front porch with, however, is making my life a living heck. From the start, she had constant parties and her boyfriend turned their second room into a music studio, so constant thumping and bass coming through my living room wall. I'd tell her to turn it down and it would stop for a while, but then start up again. He would smoke in that room, MJ and cigarettes, and hotbox the whole room. It started to make my living room stink like a dirty bar. Like I don't care about MJ, but dude, open a window. Don't hotbox the place. They constantly fought and he finally moved out. Things were calm for a while, but then it was random people at all hours. I have a Ring doorbell that's on a battery that's supposed to last 10 months on one charge. The constant in and out from her and her friends killed it into months. It's literally all night and day. This is when I realized that they're dealing illegal substances and not just MJ. She informed me that her door was kicked in by the police before I moved in. I have no idea why she told me this, but she did. So her door does not close right. It's a constant door slamming 30 to 40 times a day. Oh, and she doesn't work, so she's always home and in and out with random guys with duffel bags. The slamming is so bad that it's knocked mirrors and pictures off of my walls. I tried to be nice and understanding, but after a few of her visitors opened my screen door and violently pounded on my door to let them in, I'm done being understanding. The constant yelling on the porch, the door slamming and banging on the walls, the smell of mold, pee, and cigarettes coming through the walls, random guys in and out all night making more noise. She had a kid but does not have custody, and she has this girl from time to time while these creepy dudes come in and out. I'm worried about the kid. She barely knows these guys and even leaves her keys on the porch so anyone can just come in even if she's not home. I try not to let crap bug me, but I am done. I've called the police, I've filed noise complaints, I've explained about the illegal stuff, and the kid, they do nothing. Even though dispatch knows who she is, the woman I spoke with was like, oh, it's her again? My HOA won't do a dang thing, and I'm at the end of it. Is there anything I can do besides selling my townhouse and not mentioning that they be buying places next to a loud druggy troll? Part 2. The HOA still refused to do crap. Apparently, the HOA president is the person I bought my condo from. He knew she was like this and couldn't rent to anyone, so he was lucky he found an out-of-state buyer who would never see this trailer trash dealer before it was too late. June 2nd at 11:30 at night, someone shot up her front door trying to get in. The police were called and it was a whole event. Her front door is 5 feet away from mine, and my master bedroom is partially above the porch. So if this jerk lost control of his weapon and fired up, it would have gone through my floor. 10 bullet holes, 8 in her door alone. I was the one who called 911 first. The police asked to speak with me when I came down and asked if I knew anything. They told me that my neighbor informed them that it must have been a break-in attempt. I scoffed and I was like, hey, unless she has the Hope Diamond stash in that dumpster pile, no way. I knew this would happen. They asked why I thought that and I told them that she's a dealer. Then they asked to speak to me inside. I explained everything. The cop asked me if I lived here when they raided the house before, and I informed him that no, but had I known that had happened, I wouldn't be living here. They asked why I didn't let them know this was happening, and I couldn't help but laugh. I did multiple times. They asked me more questions and then made some comments about them having someone pressing pills for them, and then they were on their way. I've since had a full security system installed with cameras, and I'm looking for an attorney to take care of all this. The previous raid was not disclosed to me. Her lifestyle choices and constant chaos were not disclosed. I want the HOA or the state to seize her unit. She currently has 3 charges against her that she's going to court for the substances, and I know she can't pay for anything. The screaming and screeching at people with her door open gave me that much of the story. I'm venting and still trying to process this bull crap. Am I overreacting? I just want her gone. No, not at all. I mean, that's the stuff you got to know before you move in, and if it was not disclosed to you, somebody's being shady here. She should call CPS about the child, too. What would have you done? Oh boy, my HOA filed a property insurance claim for a hurricane that happened 4 years ago and got $3 million. Now they're trying to bail on fixing hurricane damage on my condo because you bought the unit with the drywall that way. So I live in North Carolina. I bought this condo in a 14-unit building in 2022 through a normal conventional loan. They had people here in late 2021, shortly after I moved in, documenting damage from a hurricane that happened in 2018 to use for their claim, like taking 3D pictures of each room, checking windows, running video scopes in the walls to check for mold, wall moisture and moisture barrier, so on. Well, they got about $3 million from the insurance claim and started by replacing roofs, storm drains, mailboxes, painting, and external things. Then they sent an email out to send them any remaining internal repairs that still need done from the hurricane. My unit had water in it in 2018. They sent someone in to cut the bottom 18 inches of drywall out, dry out the place, and replace the drywall. Whoever they had to do it just free-handed the corners with no bead and did a terrible sloppy putty job so that you can see the seam on every wall and the corners look like Play-Doh. I submitted this for repair. They sent a guy to quote the job. And then they sent the HOA board members in to look at the unit. The 2 older ladies from the board said that to do it right, there would be a lot of work and repainting, and the job is bigger than they want to do. They even asked if my insurance would paint so that they didn't have to. They also learned at that time that I didn't live in the unit during the storm. When I followed up a few days later, they said that, unfortunately, it looks like that we don't have to do your repairs after talking to our lawyers. Since you bought the condo as is, you took ownership of previous poorly done repairs. So, essentially, they are saying that we only have to spend this money to fix your unit if you owned since 2018, and we're here during the hurricane. Mind you, several of the units have changed hands in 4 hours. I don't understand how me purchasing the unit would absolve the HOA from their responsibilities. I didn't sign anything assuming financial responsibility for those drywall repairs. I talked to my realtor and the closing/title lawyer, and they said that they don't think that makes sense, but neither does litigation work. The HOA isn't a party to the home purchase. That's a contract between the buyer and seller. They used my unit to inflate their insurance claim and are not trying to use money from the claim to make adequate repairs, which I've read could be property insurance fraud. I sent them an email back explaining that other lawyers and the realtor do not agree, and they then sent me an email telling me that they would have someone else do the work. And then 2 days later, they want their attorney to talk to mine before proceeding. I don't really want to incur lawyer fees because they don't want to do the right thing and they want to pocket the money, but I would love to have the drywall fixed. Is what they're doing wrong here? Am I wrong that the repairs should be done if they claim the damage to get some money? Do you agree with this? So if they had it fixed but it was done poorly, it sounds like an issue between the HOA and the contractor, and that OP could go after the contractor. OP says that the contractor was fly-by-night, it seems. I asked them the same thing about having them do it the right way, and they said it could have even been volunteers. I mentioned the drywall to the seller, but it was not a condition of the purchase, as it was the HOA's responsibility and not the seller's. There was no paperwork for the HOA. I just got a letter that I had dues and needed to create an account online. What would you do? Is the HOA being shady, or how would you handle it? HOA declares my new house is in the HOA, but no, it's not in the HOA. Click the video on your screen so you find out what happens to the house, and I'll see you there.